I wasn't exactly satisfied with the way my park looked, and it certainly didn't help that we didn't have enough money to make what we want in the first phases of the game. So we'll be tearing everything down and building everything from the ground up now that we have some extra money in our pockets. So we'll be turning our park into something that doesn't look like trash into something that actually looks decent. I think it's about time we say goodbye to our current park because, well, we're thinking about some revamps here and there, and I'm thinking about removing everything and starting from the ground up. Although we did make a lot of progress in this one, I think it's time to close up and finally start building our new park. Oh man, I think it's gonna be painful deleting everything. I'm not sure if there's a more efficient way of doing this, but I think we'll stick to this one for now. And I'll probably just get back to you once we're done with deleting almost everything. And we're gonna be starting a new kind of park. Well, I'm thinking about keeping the theme, but you know what I mean. I did spend quite some time making this little shack for our custom stall, so we're probably gonna keep this around and keep it until we need it again, maybe for our new custom stalls in our new park. You know, there's still some people in our park despite me closing it already. I'm not really sure what to do with them, but I'm just gonna go ahead and get started with the building. And yeah, I've already leveled all the ground. I've removed the pond in the other roller coaster. And I've colored everything for the most part, I guess. So yeah, I feel like I want to get started with something like, well, perhaps a wide path to get started with, because I feel like the initial 1 block width path is a little too narrow and it doesn't really give you a lot of room to do anything. So we're widening it and we're gonna make a sort of bridge crossing over a little pond. Well, mostly just for the aesthetics of it, but it just feels a lot better to have this right up front and have people cross it. And of course, it's an experience going through this as well. It is a theme park after all. Alright, and that should do it for the little pond. And I guess we could get started with water. Oh, why? Oh, I see. Oh, we can't have it against the boundary. Okay, I see. So we're gonna have to put this up again. I'm not sure if there are implications to this, but it should be fine. I mean, it's gonna look the same anyway. And yeah, I guess we could just fill this in with water now. Let's see if it works. Okay. Yeah, it looks a lot better now. With all that said and done, we're going to be building the bridge now and making a crossing towards the quote-unquote main park, even though this is not actually what we want there. And I think I was a little impatient a while ago. So when I closed the park, not everybody was able to leave. As you can see, there are still people walking around the park. And yeah, now is the only time they could actually leave the park. Whoops. And hopefully they're not too bothered by it and they don't leave a bad rating. Well, it doesn't really matter because we'll be building our way up again, and these ratings would probably fluctuate. Well, I say fluctuate, but its rating is going to be based on our new park. So it's going to be different. Well, we've gotten rid of almost everything. I left a few of those custom stalls there. We could now get started with the entrance, but I'm not really going for an entrance. I don't see a purpose to it. But we're going to be making some sort of arch that people would go through so that it feels a lot better going in the theme park. You know, I'm starting to feel like stone bricks aren't the way to go for this archway. So let's focus our energies somewhere else and change the path up a bit. So you're probably wondering why I left the center of the bridge open. Well, it's some sort of theme that I want to go for the rest of the park. And it's that I want to accent the wide paths with something in the center, a different colored path. And what do you know? It actually looks a lot more tasteful compared to what we had previously in our previous park. And if you didn't know, our previous park looked extremely bland. So yeah, we switched things up a bit. We added a little bit of color into our park this time around, instead of having brown just everywhere. And we're gonna be consistent with this kind of theme for our path, and maybe for some of our other rides. Oh Jesus, take me now. That is mad impressive for a game that doesn't require you to have a GPU. Anyway, after trying a bunch of things out with these stone bricks, I couldn't seem to get it to work. So we're gonna try something else and maybe we'll round back to wood and see how far we could actually get with wood. I wasn't actually able to explore much of it in our old park because, well, first of all, we didn't have enough money and we got off to a bad start and I can't seem to push it further when everything looks like that. Let's keep it simple with some glass, but I'm not really feeling the edges at the moment. So we're probably gonna switch it to wood. We've got a bunch of options, but let's see this one. Well, I dig it. Actually, I think we could live with this one for now. Well, I say for now, but this would probably last until the end of the playthrough. So don't expect too many changes in this part of town. So we tried a few things here and there, and once we finally settled on a pattern that we like, we would use that same pattern to build it out and modify it a little bit so that it matches whatever we've got in our mind. So we're gonna do some sort of slant over here since I did say we wanted some sort of arch in this area, but it looked a little awkward on some of the corners, so we're gonna be adding some of these poles so that it looks better and it doesn't look like you suddenly cut it off at a certain angle, but we can make it work. I figured out that we could use something like this to make it look like it's a slant that's consistent in its thickness. And since we can't use window panes, it gets a little awkward. We're going to be working on these with some frames. And we built it out to look like this. Since the wall on its own looks very flimsy, we're going to be copying it onto another side and make it look a little thicker, so that it's more than just a facade and more of an architectural piece for our theme park. And there you have it. We just have to fill in a few bits and pieces so that it doesn't feel so empty inside. But this is exactly what I was going for. And we're going to be building around this. And just thinking about it makes me start to imagine what kind of things I want around the park. Oh yeah, it's all coming together now. But I'm not really feeling this underside. Let's just change it back to wood, and I'll probably do that in a moment. We added a little bit of some roof trimmings here and there. I can't really do the corners on the bottom sides because, we're kind of blocked by the pole on the corner, so I can't really add the corner trims to it. But honestly, I could live with those limitations. It already looks good, and there's not much we could do about it. And it's only gonna add a little bit of flavor to the overall structure. Alright, and I think that's it for our, entrance. Well, I wouldn't say entrance, more like a theme park architecture at this point. And we're gonna be working on the other things now. And I'm thinking of adding a few bits and pieces on the sides, since, the arch is the quote-unquote entrance to the theme park, but we could really use some taste and life on the front of our park. So for this first area, I'm thinking of creating some sort of food park and just adding some stalls everywhere in this area. Of course, that's subject to change, but for now, I think this would be a pretty decent place to put down some stalls and maybe some chairs and tables. And since we do have a stall already in place, we're gonna be adding these to this food park. But I'm gonna be adding a few changes to it. And of course, we copied the custom stall that we put down initially on the other one, but we're gonna be removing these and putting down more variety into it. But before any of that, let's put down some chairs for people to use in our park. And of course, the placement is a little iffy, but we could always make it work. Just these 4 umbrellas should do, but a little bit of benches on the side shouldn't hurt. And now that we're done with the decorating part, we're gonna be putting down the stalls here, and we're gonna be putting a variety of it instead of just offering like one type of food or one type of drink. Well, I wasn't really a fan of putting a sign down right in front of the store, essentially kind of blocking the entrance to the stall. We're going to be opting for a different type of label, and honestly, this one seems more fun to do. That's weird. Putting down the sign removed the trim on the left side of my custom stall cover, so we're probably gonna have to do something about that and think about it for a little bit. You know, the signs actually look decent, and I'm not really a fan of not doing it anymore. We're probably just gonna change up the stall on its own and think of some sort of design that would work with the signs that I want to put down. Okay, I think these fences should work instead of those roof trimmings, since these don't actually reach onto the block right beside it. And we could finally use the signs, but it still looks a little awkward, so I'm gonna remove these trimmings. And honestly, it kind of works, but it looks uh, a little strange, so we'll probably get back to this and work on it later. For now, we could remedy it by adding these wooden beams so that it doesn't look completely bald like a shining forehead. And we've gotten rid of the other stalls. I'm thinking of just copying the new ones over there on the other side. But I think it's about time we work on the baldness problem of this stall. We're gonna be adding the trims again, I think. But we'll just make it look like it's part of the wooden thing. So yeah, we do have these roof trims. I don't think it's gonna be a difficult fix, but it should be looking good. Well, it's pretty nice that we have a wooden option already, so I don't have to recolor the red one or the ceramic one. I don't know. Clay one, I'm not really sure what these roofs are made of, but yeah, this should be a pretty decent fix, and let's just copy it onto the other ones. Alright, we have something fancy going on here, so all we have to do now is copy this onto the other side, and we should be done and dusted with this part of the theme park. Alright, and that's done for this part of the theme park, our food park. But it's gonna need some decorating around it, so we'll be working on that later, maybe adding some nature here and there. Well, it's time to say goodbye to these stalls because we've got something new going on already. I mean, it's sad to see it go. It's only had like a short time around the theme park, but changes are necessary and I shouldn't feel too bad about this because, well, the stalls are still there, they just look different. You know, it feels a little tasteless at the moment thinking about it, but we'll be adding some nature to the food park right now. I mean, these trees are a little expensive, but they do look great. And we're just gonna have to color it a little bit so that it matches our current theme. And there you have it, that should be the food park done. We're probably gonna be working on the other side now, and I'm thinking of putting down a roller coaster. Something more action-y instead of the relaxing food park. So it's gonna be a little bit of a contrast compared to what we have on the other side. But before any of that, we're gonna be doing something for our centerpiece attraction or a centerpiece ride. But I'm not really sure if this thing is gonna fit here. But maybe we could just go back to the basics and make a carousel for our centerpiece. But I wanna be a little more special with the way I'm handling this one. Maybe give it more elevation. I'm not sure if you see it, but I elevated the area quite a bit for our carousel to stand on. Well, I don't think this one's gonna fit, so we're gonna stick with the classic one. And since it's elevated, we're gonna be using some ramps to get up to this place. But unfortunately, I think I did miscalculate the placement of the entrance and the exit. So we're probably gonna have to extend this little platform that we made so that we could actually place down the entrance and the exit. Alright, with the carousel already placed down, I think it's time to work on the paths around it, specifically the queue paths. So I'm not really sure how this works, I completely forgot. So we're going to be adding some slopes over here to see if we can place down some paths on it. But I'm not really sure if that's how it works. Maybe we don't have to put it down, but let's give it a shot anyways, so we can try it out. So let's take this one instead of the uncolored one, and yeah, I don't think I could put that down. We have to put this terrain down. And yeah, let's finish this up real quick and finally decorate the place, I guess, and make some additional changes around the area. Alright, I just finished up with the queue paths and I want to decorate this thing actually because, well, it looks a little bland at the moment. And I noticed that these wooden fences, these jagged wooden fences, look really good and works really well around this area. It doesn't go on the carousel itself, but it does a good job making it feel welcoming. So it's not exactly very organized, but you know, it just feels so homey. I can't seem to put any lanterns on the path itself, like upwards the carousel, so I'm gonna put it around the carousel and see if this actually works. But it looks like it lights up the area pretty well, and I have no qualms about it. Okay, so we've got something over here. We've got a swinging ship. So we're gonna be working on our theme park and not the sides because, well, I did mention we were gonna make a roller coaster, but I wanted to get at least 2 rides down in the center so that we could actually open the place and start earning money already. Because, well, we've been down for quite some time, and I really want to see this get going. So yeah, let's finish this up, and I'll probably open up soon if nothing else comes to mind. Well, there you have it. We've got a somewhat complete park. Let's open it up real quick. We've got some restrooms over there near the entrance or the arch, and we've got 2 rides going on right now. But we haven't really lit up the place yet, so let's go ahead and do that, and let's see how much money we could get running with just 3 rides, I think. Yeah, we only have 3 rides and a bunch of other stalls apart from the restrooms we got down, the food park. Yeah. I think I miscalculated and I have to extend this area a little bit because it wasn't symmetrical looking at it. And yeah, we're gonna have to adjust the colors as well, but it shouldn't be too bad of a fix. I've been putting this off for quite a while now, and I think it's about time we build this damn roller coaster. So here we are building the new steel coaster on the other side of the front area of our theme park. Hopefully we have enough money for this, but we'll just have to see. Well, that should be it for the new roller coaster. We now have around, not around, we have 4 rides around the theme park, and I think just a few more finishing touches, and we should start earning money again. We only used around 10,000 for that roller coaster, so we have a lot of money to spare this time around. So let's see what we could actually do. So yeah, I added some fences to certain areas just to set some boundaries real quick. But I did notice that we don't have enough guests. We had around 70, I believe, in our previous park. But we only have 40 on this one. Well, I think it's because we only have a few rides, so it's not that interesting yet. And we're probably gonna have to put more of those. So yeah, while the park does look more interesting now, we are lacking some variety in rides and maybe even stalls. So we should probably work on that right now. So I tried copying the previous stall onto this one, but it's right beside the arch, so we can't really do that. We're gonna have to give it a twist of our own, I guess, and see what we could do, but I'll try to make it look as similar as possible to the other one. Unfortunately, I don't think I could copy it one-to-one. I think this is the best I can do for this one, so it's gonna have to look a little different compared to the other stalls. So yeah, there we have it. I don't think our rating increased just off of that. So we're gonna have to introduce some new rides around the park. And hopefully this increases the guest count. Alright, I know one ride's not gonna change much, but I'm not really sure what's gonna happen. I'll just put in as much effort into this one as much as I put into the other ones. So let's make it look pretty. Alright, we're cheaping out once again and putting down a teacup ride. It's, I don't think it's as expensive as the Space Rings. I think the Space Rings are actually cheaper, but we gotta do what we gotta do to bump up our ratings, I guess. And yeah, while I've been cheaping out on some of these rides, I think it's fine because they're gonna be in my park anyway, regardless. So they are necessary purchases, but I just have to make sure it looks good in our park. And that's what I've been doing with the recent rides actually. Put down some fences, but maybe we could introduce some nature later on. Well, I've never actually been on this roller coaster, so let's see what it's all about. And I'm pretty sure it works because people have been lining up and exiting. And it sure does last quite... It does not last long, I'm not gonna lie. but it's a pretty good roller coaster for our first one in this version of the theme park. You know, that kind of bummed me out a little bit. Maybe we need a new roller coaster. But we don't quite have enough money yet, so I'll probably get back to this once we have enough money. But I think we've done a pretty decent job at the moment with our new park. I'm really happy with how everything turned out and the nature looks. But the job's not done. I think we need one more roller coaster. And we're back with a little bit more money. And I think we have more guests compared to the last time we checked. So I think 10,000, well, I think 10,000 isn't enough. So we're gonna be idling a little bit in between. But regardless, we should get this roller coaster done as soon as possible because I really want to get this out. So yeah, we expected this actually. We don't have enough money to finish the roller coaster, but some idling should do the trick. I'm gonna sit down on this carousel and enjoy the view. And I'll get back to you guys once I have enough money. And now I think I do have enough money, another 13 grand to make this roller coaster, and I think this time around we could start finishing it. I know we only have a little bit left to go, but I'm still not sure if 13 grand is enough. And I guess we have, well, we don't have much of a choice. Let's just get started and start building this thing. Alright, we just finished the roller coaster finally, and it's night out. So I think that should be it for this roller coaster. And we've still got a lot of things to do, but I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. So that's our new park. I guess we'll just have to see what else we can do the next time around. Thank you for watching, everybody.